This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South today, Coronet Peak Ski Field closed for the year at the weekend following a season blighted by COVID-19. There's light at the end of the tunnel for new owners of a cafe which changed hands just before the latest COVID lockdown. And a group of Southern school pupils have raised thousands of dollars for leukemia research while supporting one of their own. Tēnā koutou katoa namahi o te ahiahi nei, kia ora. I'm Simon Anderson. After a winter blighted by closed borders and lockdowns, Coronet Peak Ski Field closed yesterday, having only been open for 65 days out of the usual 100 per season. Area Manager Nigel Kerr says the field staff were among those hardest hit from this year's uncertainties.
It was the usual hijinks at Coronet Peak Ski Field's final day of the season, with Ski Area Manager Nigel Kerr looking back on a second winter with COVID-19 and very few positives to celebrate.
The season started as a season with much promise, and as we got into it, that promise became less and less. First the Australians, we got in a little bit late to start the season. There was definitely a bit of a drought on snowfall. Snowmaking made a huge difference as we went into that late June into early July into the school holidays, but we had the school holidays and they were pretty good. A lot of people down enjoying it, and then as we got on a roll getting through August, and then it ended. Lots of promise, not much delivery.
This year's disruption meant the ski field was only open 65 days as opposed to the usual 100, with a big impact on the ski field's staff.
I think the key thing that COVID's created for us is an issue of uncertainty. Uncertainty with the staff, uncertainty with planning, uncertainty with the future generally. I mean, anything like this creates a whole lot of, well, what's going to happen questions in people's minds. And I feel really badly for the staff. Particularly, I think the staff have had a really rough road through the tail of the season particularly, and a lot now very much up in the air as to what their next step is.
Kerr says the facility's snowmaking machines, as seen in this file footage from last year, proved their worth in maintaining the slopes.
Snowmaking has been the big recovery item for us here, and it really has worked miracles in turning us on time after time as these westerly storms have come through and stripped away the base.
Coronet Peak's sister ski field, the Remarkables, is set to close after the school holidays mid-next month. In Queenstown, the South today.
Christchurch International Airport has released two options of how the runways might align at its proposed runway airport in Terrace. While the new information is being described as simply a small step forward by the developer, there are many questions being asked in local communities about environmental impacts. One proposal would see wide-bodied jets flying over the Lindis Valley and the town of Cromwell, while the other has aircraft landing and taking off over Harweir Flat. The airport intends to spend the next half year validating the research before confirming a preferred runway option. The developer has set itself a deadline of 2023 to decide whether to seek operational and planning approval. A Dunedin cafe changed hands just a day before the start of last month's lockdown. The new owners say having to shut down was a frightening challenge, but business is now back to a level that will hopefully allow them to survive.
When Ivan Mason and his partner Donna Hall took over Mocha Cafe on the ground floor of Otago House on the 16th of August, it was their first step into the hospitality business. Unfortunately, it was just a day before the country went into lockdown.
We've got no experience in hospitality at all. So what better way to start than to buy a cafe and then go straight into lockdown?
Mason says there was a lot of pressure and uncertainty about how to suddenly shut the business down.
That evening, it was just, I've never seen the town so busy. It was gridlock, there was cars everywhere. and we had a whole lot of food that had been prepared on the Monday, so we were all ready to go for the week. And then all of a sudden we had to, like, what do we do? How do we freeze some stuff? What do we needed to work with the chef and take stuff home? And it was pretty terrifying.
Mason says the government subsidies have helped the business survive, but the cafe is just getting by, just like many other businesses across the country.
But the whole country was in the same situation, so at the end of the day you just had to roll with it. Yeah.
Despite a lot of people still working from home, the cafe has returned to a steady pace under Alert Level 2, with business now back to 70% on what it was this time last year. In Dunedin, the South Today.
American rock group Guns N' Roses will no longer perform in Dunedin, but will play at Eden Park in December 2022 instead. Last year, the band announced they would perform in Dunedin and Wellington in the hope that the COVID-19 epidemic would not get in the way. But November's concerts have been cancelled and they're not planning to visit Forsyth Bar Stadium next year either. Instead, ticket holders to the Dunedin show will get a full refund or first dibs on Auckland tickets in the special pre-sale. The other city in the long-haired rockers' original itinerary was Wellington. The capital city is still likely to see them next December. Tickets go on sale next Thursday. School pupils and their teachers in Tapanui have been raising thousands of dollars for the Child Cancer Foundation through having their heads shaved. Called Wig Wednesday, the event was originally started after one of the school's pupils was diagnosed with leukemia.
Both pupils and staff took part in this year's fundraising head shave event at Blue Mountain College in Tapanui recently. Called Wig Wednesday, the event was started off by staff members Sarah and Peter Davies, whose son Jock Davies was diagnosed with leukemia 8 years ago.
We've been doing this for 6 years now at Blue Mountain College. On Wig Wednesday we usually have a group of people that shave, so it's very humbling that so many people in our community support this. Last year the event raised $8,000 for the Child Cancer Foundation, and it looks set to raise a similar total this year as well, with 16-year-old Nico Halliwell raising over $1,000 through losing the mullet he's been growing for the last 4 years. Jock Davies relapsed 3 years ago and had to move to Auckland Starship Hospital for a bone marrow transplant, but he's now back completing his Year 13 studies. And his mother says the annual Wig Wednesday event is now well known in the community. It's a locked and loaded date within the West Otago community, so I take my hat off to all of those that have done a shave today. And for many, the event isn't just a fundraiser, but a fun, community-spirited gathering that lets participants take a weight off their head or chin.
Oh, quite a relief, isn't it? I haven't done that for a while.
In Tapanui, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, green technologies could be headed to the South and we get on board the South's first vaccine bus, ka kite a konei.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Ngā Mānoa, welcome back. A proposal to build the world's first large-scale green hydrogen plant in Southland is attracting strong interest from across the globe. The Tiwai aluminium smelter site near Invercargill is being suggested as a suitable location after it closes in 2024. Meridian Energy and Contact Energy have already received more than 80 registrations of interest responses after a report revealed a plant had the potential to earn hundreds of millions of dollars in export revenue. Using hydroelectric power, the project could help decarbonise societies both here and overseas. The hydrogen project hopes to determine key partners by March of next year. Dunedin has its first mobile COVID-19 vaccination clinic. Caversham-based organisation Te Kaika has previously run drive-in vaccination centres but has now partnered with a bus company to take vaccinations to where they're needed.
Why catch COVID when you can catch the bus? Te Kaika, the Southern District Health Board and the Dunedin City Council have joined forces to launch this bright blue mobile vaccination bus. Southern District Health Board Chief Māori Advisor and Strategy Officer Gilbert Tauroa says it fits with the kaupapa of Te Kaika.
So this will be able to get around, not only around Dunedin, I would imagine across the district, to reach out to communities that are probably in high need.
Te Kaika is sending the bright blue bus around Greater Dunedin suburbs filled with COVID vaccines and vaccinators in a bid to provide greater access to the jab. Te Kaika Chief Executive Albie Lawrence is pleased to have vaccinations going to where they're needed.
Over the next month or so, the bus will be going closer to suburbs, especially the likes of Brockville, Pine Hill, Corstorphine, some of the suburbs out of Mosgiel, and also just to community events that are running in the community and workplaces. So it's just quite a simple concept, so we can have some chairs, put them outside, and we'll probably vaccinate around 50 to 60 people at any one time.
During the pandemic, vaccination rates for Māori and Pacifica peoples have been below average. However, Albie Lawrence is hoping to get to nearly 100% vaccination against COVID-19 for the region.
Well, I guess Te Kaika's been doing a lot of vaccination in the city. This is a drive between Southern DHB, the city, so Dunedin City Council, and Te Kaika as the Ngāi Tahu provider to try and make vaccination more accessible as we push for above 90% vaccination rate for the city.
The bus has been provided by Ritchie's and was recently unveiled. It's already made stops in Brockville and at the Otago Farmers Market. Gilbert Tauroa says this Matakarona waka is another feather in Te Kaika's korowai.
They were one of the first organisations to establish a drive-through vaccination clinic at the ECAR Centre a few weeks back, and also the Pacific and Māori stand-up that they set up at the stadium. So this is a real celebration, I guess, on the next milestone in regards to reaching out to our Māori and Pacifica communities.
Dunedin Mayor Aaron Hawkins was among those who gathered to launch the mobile vaccination bus and says the government's direction is clear. The vaccine being offered is tested, safe, and increasing vaccination rates against COVID-19 is the only way Aotearoa New Zealand can get anywhere close to a new version of normal.
We know that for our social well-being, for our economic well-being as a community and as a country, we need as many people vaccinated as quickly as possible. And we've got really great turnout rates here in Dunedin, but we also know that we can't wait for people to come to us and do that. We need to go out to where people are and find people and offer them that service. And Te Kaika's done a great job with the DHB in putting this together and having a mobile vaccination bus on the road here in the city.
Albie Lawrence says the mobile clinic is set to roam the city for at least a month and if proved successful could continue until December. Te Kaika iwi advisor Matt Matahare says the best way to know where the mobile vaccination bus is going to be is via the Te Kaika Facebook page. In Dunedin, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, there is further disquiet about a proposed motor camp at Warrington, and we have a look at your early week's weather. Hea koko ake nei.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Hey, what have you got? Okay. Chicks World, party time, excellent. Love it. Chicks World! Chicks World! Right.
Hoki mai noa. A Warrington resident is expressing concern about a constant stream of heavy traffic moving past her living room window if a proposed new motor park comes to fruition. The New Zealand Motor Caravan Association has applied for resource consent to establish a 60-berth members-only caravan park in Warrington. On Friday, the Dunedin City Council's Hearings Committee heard submissions regarding the proposal. Local resident Louise Marsh estimates there could be more than 15 vehicle movements per hour at peak times, averaging to a camper driving in front of her house every 3 to 4 minutes. Members of the Council's panel will perform a site visit before making a decision on whether to grant the consent. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Coronet Peak ski field closed for this year at the weekend following a season blighted by COVID-19. There's light at the end of the tunnel for new owners of a cafe which changed hands just before the latest COVID lockdown. And a group of Southern school pupils have raised thousands of dollars for leukemia research while supporting one of their own. And now time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with today's southern view of Dunedin's Law Courts Hotel. Looking at the situation, there should be fine weather for a few days with a west to southwesterly airflow prevailing. Then high pressure moving in from the Tasman Sea at the end of the week. Heading towards the northwest of the South Island where it's sunny in both centres, Greymouth reaching 13, Westport 14 degrees. Quite sunny at the top of the island too, just a bit of cloud for Blenheim, both on 13 degrees. And the sun stretches right over to the eastern side and all the way down the Canterbury coast. Kaikoura on 10, Christchurch 12 and Ashburton 13 degrees. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore can all look forward to moderate westerlies with some cloud and a high of 14 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes, Wanaka, Queenstown and Alexandra can all expect light winds and clear skies and highs between 14 and 16 degrees. Similar in Te Anau, moderate westerlies, some cloud and a high of 16. Heading further north along the coast, it's light winds with clear skies and highs of 14 or 15 degrees for both Timaru and Oamaru. Further inland, Twizel and Omarama should see light winds with clear skies and a high of 15 degrees. In Dunedin, it'll be cold with clear skies tonight with frosts possible, an overnight low of 0. Tomorrow should be mostly fine and sunny with scattered cloud. Expect light winds at first tending northeast during the afternoon, a high of 14 and a low of 5. It'll become milder on Wednesday with some high cloud and sunny periods and moderate to fresh westerly winds developing, a high of 18 and a low of 10 degrees. And in Invercargill, it'll be cold tonight with an overnight low of 3. It should be fine tomorrow with sunny periods and some cloud at times and moderate westerly winds, a high of 14 and a low of 7. Cloud is expected on Wednesday with a few scattered light showers possible and fresh westerly winds, a high of 15 and a low of 8 degrees. And that's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and you can follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe to get notified of that southern news as it happens. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.